Yeah. I think that, but you know what? And when you feel good, when you feel good, you start taking how much stuff with you. I understand. I know. I do the same thing. I mean, yeah, I feel you. You know, it's so much stress. Wow. Hey, what's up? Hey, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga. Yeah, say hello. Ah, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. All of the dark clouds that behind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Yeah. Here's the rain I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. All of the dark clouds that hide behind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's already bright. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yeah. I think I can make it now. It's gone. Yeah. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here's that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. God is here. God is everywhere good and everywhere present. We want to thank God for that presence. That presence lives inside of us. All of us. You got this there?
Yeah, or do you want to do it?
I'm doing it, sir. And we can say that in every cell, nerve, tissue of our bodies is the divine life of God. As God is, and we and the Father are one. You know? And so it is. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this I left the sanctuary, dug up all the hymns they read, searching for the love of life. In the spirit there's liberty. Everybody just wants to be free, free from the one of peace to live our lives. I claim it to be Jesus. I believe in miracles. I'm shouting out the good news. I'm preaching the gospel. 'Cause when you add it all up, you'll see how much we'll gain when we realize we're one and the same. When we realize we're one and the same. Some say it's worth fighting for, at least worth dying for. I hold my head up high peacefully. Some say it's about black or white. One is wrong while the other ain't right. The judge of a book by the cover, they won't read. I claim it to be Jesus. I believe in miracles. I'm shouting out the good news. I'm preaching your gospel. 'Cause when you add it all up, you'll see how much we'll gain when we realize we're one and the same. Hallelujah, when we realize we're one and the same. Great God Almighty, when we realize we're one and the same. Have a seat. I see a lot of new faces. I think I still have new faces. New faces, new faces, new faces.
Did you just write that song?
No! Hey, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. That's a war and treaty song. And this little couple, they sang here about 11, 12 years ago. And 7 people in the audience. And I had to leave early. And Yeah, award tree now. All right.
It was perfect.
I get to talk about him. I love it. Hey, y'all have a wonderful day. Good to see you.
Yeah, have a great week.
See y'all.
Okay. Oh my goodness, look at this. We have a nice full house today. All right, well, a hand for Landis Bass, huh? That was great. And since he was over there, I'm going to go ahead and light our Christ candle for the day. All right, well, good morning and welcome everyone to our Sunday celebration service here on Sunday, March 1st, 2026. How about that? I would like to thank each of you for joining us in person this morning. My name is Eric Miller. I have the honor and pleasure of serving as your president of your board of trustees, this incredible community here. Welcome also to those of you who are watching us on Facebook this morning, or on Facebook or YouTube in the future. Time traveling is always so fun, isn't it? Our thoughts spiral back in the past and leap and spiral into the future so many times. But the present is often a gift that we forget to appreciate sometimes. You know, I mean, and so for those of you who are present with us now, and for those of you who will be present with us in the future, thank you for inviting us into your hearts and homes. This is a safe place to settle in for an hour or so, recharge, rebalance, and re-energize. So please feel free to share any comments amongst yourselves, or if you feel so led, or online, or share the link to today's message to anyone who you think might be encouraged by it. I promise there will be takeaways for everyone. That's our guest speaker saying that, and I'm gonna disagree with her, because you're gonna be great. I know it. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, I guess I'll skip this next part if we have newcomers today. I'm kidding. I see lots of new faces today. Let's not bring that up again, Penny. Penny, if anyone's wondering why Penny's glowing today, she's glowing with wisdom. Glowing with wisdom, having fallen for an internet scam about updating our church's QuickBooks account. And so, but that's all resolved. We got our money back, and she is glowing with wisdom. Glowing with wisdom. Okay, well, we are honored for all of you new people that are joining us today. Our greeter, Penny, has a packet of information about Unity as a church and who we are as part of the New Thought movement. There's also a paper on the back that you can fill out and put in the offering basket if you would like to receive our bi-monthly newsletter. And I do assure you it is only bi-monthly. We don't hit you up with a bunch of stuff. As a congregation, we like to share our love and appreciation for you with a special blessing. So everyone, please warm up your hands. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, if the newcomers here, would you raise your hand so that we can pass out the... And let's, so the rest of us warm up our hands. Yeah, over here, and then over here too, Penny. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Warm up our hands and say our special blessing with us. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. There was, yeah, sitting next to Heath over there. So the Christ in you, that refers to that spark of divinity, the very same quality that Jesus had and brought forth in himself and demonstrated in his ministry. And we all have it. That's why we say that Christ in you, that spark in divinity, because we do all have it. That which I can do, you can do also, right? So Unity of Chattanooga is part of worldwide ministries and the New Thought movement, a movement that started out as a positive, practical, progressive approach, a school actually, to practical Christianity based on the self-empowering teachings and examples of Jesus and other wisdom teachers throughout history. And here at Unity, we combine those teachings with modern scientific and psychological principles for living a healthy, happy, joy-filled, and inspired life. So we honor the universal truths in all religions and respect each individual's right to choose their spiritual path. And because we know that each person that comes to Unity is at a different place on their personal journey, we invite everyone to substitute and use the language that resonates best with you, whether you prefer the word God, the universe, spirit, divine truth, universal love, church, spiritual center, or any other reference to your personal spiritual anchor point. There are no wrong ways to refer to your personal sense of what I call the spiritual wow. You know, that feeling of like, dang, there is something, you know, those coincidences that are blessings, you know, it's like, wait a minute, there is something bigger out there than me, the spiritual wow. However we refer to it, it's all the same. It's timeless, it's universal, it's a universal expression of connection, goodness, order, abundance, and love in the world. So in Unity, we believe that our lives and our possibilities are limitless. No one and nothing can limit what we imagine for ourselves unless we allow it, right? We, in Unity community this past month, we were talking about Emerson's Secrets of Success, and some other things. And one of that came up, Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau were leaders of the Transcendentalist movement in the 1840s, which evolved into the New Thought movement. And Henry David Thoreau wrote, "Think for yourself, or others will think for you without thinking of you." Yeah. And Emerson's quote, I'm getting chills saying it again. And Emerson's quote, "Once you make a decision, the universe will conspire to make it happen." And those were both really particularly powerful, empowering reminders that self-trust is the first key of success. That's what Ralph Waldo Emerson said. The first key of success is self-trust. Intuition, following our intuition. How many times do we bounce ourselves on the head because we didn't follow our gut? We let our prefrontal cortex analyze and figure out, the answer was here, you know? And so one of the things, I wasn't going to talk about this, but one of the things we did in Unity Community, our discussion group, we have a monthly discussion group on the second and fourth Thursdays of every month at 6 o'clock here, is we talked about looking back at this chaotic, kind of uncertain time that we're all in right now, and asking ourselves, what would we like to be able to say about it 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And this helped us set our desired paths for ourselves instead of just drifting 1, 3, 5 years in this sea of uncertainty, right? And if this is something you think you'd like to try at home, don't worry. Do it. It's perfectly safe, I promise. But don't be surprised if it feels like a stepping stone to taking control of your life, because thinking for yourself is important. And making decisions and letting the universe steer and guide us. You know, a friend of mine who's a minister up in New York laid this beautiful thing on me, which I love. Divine Spirit cannot steer a parked car. So when we're in analysis paralysis, when we're trying to figure out what to do, we aren't going anywhere. We're just stuck in a rut. And we're like, oh, what do I do? Do I fall in love with that person? Do I fall in love with that person? Do I take that job? We have to be in motion for Spirit to guide us. So I love that. Spirit cannot steer a parked car. Another great Emerson quote is, people need to trust their own instincts and ideas. Our inner voice is the key to true happiness and fulfillment. So those are just some basic tenets of New Thought and Unity, which I'm going to share with our regular members, which many of us already know that. But also the new people just go, what is this? Is this a cult? What is it? You know, what are they talking about? Why is that guy dressed funny? You know, we take spiritual truths and we make them practical in our day-to-day lives. And instead of praying and beseeching for something, for some great goodness to do something for us, we take power of our lives. We think for ourselves so that others don't think for us without thinking of us. So perhaps coincidentally or perhaps not coincidentally, perhaps as an example of cosmic alignment and unity, see how I worked the word unity in there? The year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology just started about 10 days ago, which is coinciding with the start of Lent this year. So regardless which calendar event resonates with you, both invite us to release any worn out beliefs, negative thoughts, or ideas that no longer serve us, or ideas that keep us from living up to our potential. And as Mother Nature is starting to bloom in all of her splendor once again, this is a perfect time for us to reimagine and affirm what we do want in our lives with statements of truth that are meaningful for us. The truth is that we all have innate divine spiritual power to change and present our own, impact our own circumstances. So it's time to become conscious collaborators with the divine. As it says in Philippians 4:8, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything at all worthy of praise, think about these things. Easy to do and good advice too, right? Because as we all know, our thoughts lead to our words lead to our actions, and our actions lead to our destiny. Okay, speaking of thoughts and words and actions, let's do a quick rundown of some upcoming events in March. Our Unity Classics book study group meets this Tuesday at 10:45 a.m. right here. They are reading Emmett Fox's book, Sermon on the Mount. And then on Thursday, March 4th, Wellness Warriors will be meeting at noon to talk about and release anxiety or fear about any health challenges anyone might be facing, and to join with others and affirm our commitment to be an expression of the well-being and radiant vitality that we want to be and are. Sometimes when we get a diagnosis, we listen to the doctors and they tell us that we're not well. We have the power to be well. After Wellness Warriors at 1 o'clock, Ann Yeager, is she here today? I don't see her, no. Will once again offer individual sessions of Giving Light, Sukyo Mahakari. It's really wonderful if no one's done it yet. I really invite you to try. She's going to be offering it after service again later this month. On Saturday, March 7th, Heath Llewellyn will once again facilitate our Way Fun, Too Cool for School monthly drumming circle. Please note that we will be starting at 5 p.m. this Saturday. Is that on there? Yeah.
I thought we were going to start that at the next time.
Oh.
I went ahead and sent out dealers out there the normal time.
Oh, okay. All right. So I guess we're doing it at 6.
Is that 6 now?
Yeah, I guess so. I thought we agreed and we texted back and forth and you said you were thinking the same thing. Anyway, okay. Sorry, 6 p.m. Here are a couple of other items to mark down on your calendar coming up, just because they're very nice and you might want a little lead advance. On Wednesday, March 11th at 6 p.m., Linda O'Brien will be presenting a full breathwork session at the Her Alchemies women's group that meets on Wednesdays at 6. And then our next building expansion planning committee is actually, it's getting bumped to Sunday the 15th. I know I talked to a couple people last week and I said we we're gonna shoot for the 8th. I got a commitment conflict, so we gotta push it out a week to March 15th after service. But it's all good. Hopefully I'm gonna have a quote by then for the necessary plumbing work for our new space and some other news regarding the forward momentum of potential of our target of breaking ground in May. And then later this month, Robert Worth will be offering another acoustic sound bath on Saturday, March 21st at 2 p.m. He is asking for a $10 per person donation for facilitating this very relaxing, very clean, very centering sound bath. So please bring a little cash along with you. And then backing up a little bit today, we will be offering our Power of 8 Intention group downstairs after fellowship. All are welcome to attend, and that is people come up with an affirmation statement of what they want to happen. It's framed in a way that it already has happened, and then there's a group meditation to visualize the happening of that event. Also today, our prayer chaplain is Corliss Lawler, and she will be available for personal prayer in the back office after service. And then next Sunday, we're welcoming back for the first time again, Octavia Faribault, who was scheduled to be our speaker on January 25th when we had to cancel because of that snowstorm that miraculously missed us. Remember, it was coming, it nailed Nashville, it split around Chattanooga and then hammered Knoxville. Anyway, she's going to be coming back for the first time next week, and her talk is entitled Fire and Bloomstone. And most importantly, remember to catch Fire and Bloomstone. Remember next week to spring forward and turn your clocks ahead 1 hour for next Saturday night for daylight savings time. Okay, woohoo, that was a lot of announcements. Now it's time to meet and greet one another in any way that you feel comfortable with, a namaste, a handshake, a hug, whatever you're comfortable with. Hey, man, how's it going? Mine. I put it there to save you some. Okay. We could have done that all day, right? This would have gone on and on. Yeah, beautiful. We do have a lot of sort of different announcements. We have a couple of prayers that are kind of together that we'd like to request that people keep in their hearts and minds. Prayers are being requested for Judy Hill's mom, who was admitted into the hospital on Friday night with severe back pains. So we want to see her being treated effectively and quickly so that she's resting comfortably and returning home soon. So let's kind of picture that in our minds of Judy Hill's mom returning home whole and happy. I do not. I'm sorry. And Amanda Adamson is not here today because she is preparing for a ministerial interview with a panel of Unity ministers this week. She asks that we hold her in prayer and see her relaxed and filled with wisdom and clarity that allows her to answer their questions easily and effortlessly. The tribunal. Yeah. And Sarah Lord has a card in the back table to sign for Chuck Agney, who is actually here with us today as he recovers from a heart valve replacement. So he's doing really well, but I mean, we can still sign a get well card, you know? Yeah, he's feeling good and it's working already. But thank you, Sarah, for making that card for us all to sign. Okay, now our guest speaker today. Yes, exactly. Reverend Julie Boniger, like a lion, Boniger, sorry, is not only a licensed and ordained Unity minister, she has a Master's of Divinity, and she is also an ordained interfaith, interspiritual minister. She served for over 15 years at Unity North in Atlanta in a range of creative and spiritual leadership roles, one of which was revitalizing and expanding their youth and family ministry to an average of over 40 children and teens per week. That's one of our goals here. We might start off with a slightly smaller number. But yeah. She is currently working with Unity's Southeast region, helping churches establish or grow their Unity and youth and family programs, and is busy creating curriculum, volunteer training materials, and a full summer camp in a box. This spring, she will be offering a class on the Unity basics and is excited to begin her teaching journey with Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute this summer. Reverend Julie is passionate about teaching as a sacred co-creating journey, and she believes that every person carries inner wisdom waiting to be expressed. We are grateful for the inner wisdom that she will be sharing with us today. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Julie Boniger.
All right. Penny just told me, did I shrink? Penny just told me that that's a bear.
Yeah.
What's a lion? Grr. Rawr. Oh my gosh. I need a stool. No. Wow. What does that mean? I didn't need a stool before. It's a high, yes, I suddenly feel like I'm in a higher consciousness. Well, welcome everybody. I am thrilled to be back with you guys. You're just such a wonderful community. And for those of you that are here for the first time, you have definitely stepped into a place of love, of cherish, commitment to truth principles. My family and friends love it here. And so I'm just thrilled to be here today. So I came up with this talk title as a precautionary measure. I had eye surgery 2.5 weeks ago, And I had no idea what I was going to look like this morning. Was I going to have bruising? Was I going to look like a raccoon? And so I thought, well, at the Crossroads, what am I not seeing? I'll just, worst case scenario, build that into some sort of spiritual lesson. And it turns out there was a lot I wasn't seeing. I didn't have an eye lift, but what happened is I had droopy eyes from the time I was a kid. And now that I'm a woman of a certain age, I think it was getting worse, especially in my left eye. I didn't realize till the doctor told me, and then I couldn't unsee it. I meant that pun. I was looking through this tiny little veil of eyelashes. And so I would keep my eye closed all the time. And so I had it fixed, and I'm wearing glasses. I can't wear eye makeup or contacts for another week, but I can actually see all of you, and my eyes are opened. So, yeah. And so in pondering it, I was thinking, what else haven't I been seeing? What are we not seeing as a country in the world, as a spiritual community, as a movement? And there's a lot, I think, and we have blind spots. And I've noticed in my recovery from this, and I have a lot more downtime these days, that we are living in a world of extremes. Now, I'm really glad that Eric told you all about unity principles, because I thought I'm going to have to, for the new folks, sort of dial that in, because I'm going to talk about the contrast a little bit to that, because we're living in the upside down right now. If you're a Stranger Things fan, like, we're in the upside down. And I'm just seeing so many extremes, not only in my life, but in the country, in the world. And as ministers, I believe, in addition to the power of truth principle, the power that we do have to recognize the divinity in us, to recognize the divinity in each other, to know that our thoughts, words, and actions have creative power. If we don't acknowledge what's going around in the human world, it's really hard to embody that. And so as ministers, what do? And I'm known as a pot stirrer, and my ministry tends to be towards authenticity and vulnerability and being willing to share, being willing to stand in the fire, and it doesn't lessen our spiritual responsibility and our spiritual grounding. Because let's face it, I was afraid to wake up today and look at the news because I thought, what else could possibly happen? Every single day, there's something unfathomable to many of us. We have wars and wisdom, our wisdom teachers falling off the pedestals that we put them on, and violence in the streets. And I believe as a minister, we also have to protect those who can't speak for themselves while maintaining the ever-presence of the Christ consciousness. And so at the same time, I also see on the other side of the extreme, people helping strangers. I read a story about a police officer who came to a grocery store to arrest two women who stole a bunch of groceries. And when he realized that they were trying to feed their family, not only didn't he arrest them, but he bought them $250 worth of gift cards. So both things are existing. We had the horrors of Minneapolis, and then monks walking across the country for peace. And I'm thinking, how do those two things exist at the same time? But they do. And so on any given day, I hover between, hope and helplessness and fear and love, and it's all okay because we are at a crossroads, which is actually a good thing. Apparently, when you're taller, you get more thirsty. And I do want to welcome those of you. I sometimes forget to welcome you guys online. So definitely put comments in Facebook. And I love to be interactive. I don't know how many questions I have today, but who knows what'll come out of my mouth. So welcome. So a crossroads. everybody know what a crossroads is. It's an intersection, right? And mythology tells us that the veil is thinner at the crossroads. So a lot of myths, when you get to the middle, you can kind of put one foot in two different worlds at the same time. And spiritually, it's a liminal space. It's a threshold. It's that point of power where sorry. Can you hear me if I keep it a little further? Okay. It's a point of power where we get to choose from many different paths. We can keep going the way we are. We can turn that way, we can turn that way, or we can go back from where we came. But it's a visual representation of the infinite choice that we have. And that's a powerful place to be. And so it can pivot us personally, but also collectively. So as a community, as a unity movement, I don't know if many of you know, but we just merged with, there used to be two halves that made up unity, and we finally merged together, and I think it's a wonderful thing because that is showing us more unity, for lack of a, and resources. And so we're at a crossroads also in community, in the world, in the country. And so what do we do with that? I think we're still going towards the extremes though. And what I want to talk about today is why that is and maybe what we can do to mitigate that a little bit or get ourselves centered. So on one side, you have, and I'm going to ask you to identify, but you don't really have to. So here are the extremes I'm seeing. On one side, you have the people that are reading every article on Facebook, who are maybe protesting, who are sharing stories and reels, and who are, just getting the word out, and maybe with a little bit of, not anger, but, well, some, maybe, your keyboard warriors. And then on the other side, you have people who live in their peace bubble. They want to just not think about it, and their way of coping and staying grounded is to look the other way to a certain degree. Neither one of those are wrong. So how many keyboard, I don't want to say warriors, how many keyboard people, how many people are out in the world? I love you, right away. Anybody? Yeah. It's okay, Mom. Out in the world, like paying attention to what's going on and putting your voice in the space and, signing petitions, taking action. How many people do we have that are the peace chasers on the other side that are just like, I'm going to love who? You can. You can do it simultaneously. And you can be, who said that? Yeah, you can be in the middle, and the middle is probably where the most power is. And so what I want to draw our awareness to is that can shift based on what's going on in our lives, because we have unmet needs. From childhood, that's sort of my platform, is recognizing those belief systems that we carry from childhood and then extend to our adult experience. Those inform us. We can know principles, but if we don't look at why we have a belief or why we show up in the world a certain way, then I think Eric said we're just floating along. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. And so I thought no one was going to come clean. So I'm impressed. And I've been both. I sent a post on Facebook before I was a minister that was absolutely out of alignment and did no good whatsoever. And then I've also just watched Taylor Swift's Eras Tour movie for days on end. It's sometimes we need both, absolutely. And like each one of us has a story. So I'm here with my mom and two of my really good friends, and I know stories that they're going through right now. Penny told me her story today. So when you think about that, is the story you have or what you're going through informing how you're showing up in the world? even how you're seeing the face of God in each person. And that's what I kind of want to explore today. Not that I'm saying we need to protest, march, send voter cards, or meditate for an hour to raise the vibration of the world. We need all of that. But only you can discern and hear the still small voice of what is yours to do. And that voice is only authentic when we're able to sit with why, or at least that's my theory. So when we retreat to the edges of the crossroads, because in unity, we also can think of the cross as the intersection between our divinity and our humanity. And, as Eric said, principle number 2 is we all have a divine spark within us, and we do not choose where we see the face of God. But when I look at someone who's hurt me or who is in the world hurting others, if I totally shun the humanity, it's hard to see the divinity. So it reminded me of, as I was watching the monks in Minneapolis simultaneously, it reminded me of this vision I had back in 2017. And I believe I gave that talk here, so I'm not going to go really into it all. But when the eclipse happened, were you guys in the line of totality here? An hour. Okay. It was in 2017. 10 days before that was the rally in Charlottesville that became deadly, and counter-protester was killed and many people hurt. And I just had this total knowing that there were people from that rally, people that hated each other, driving to the place of the line of totality and standing shoulder to shoulder with that person that they hate and staring up in awe at the sky. And I was like, okay, does that mean, and this is just my vision, in the Minneapolis, all the anger and that, did some of those people meet the monks on the road? We were all looking for Aloka, the dog. Is he walking today? Do you guys follow the dog on social media? Yeah. So, there are times that we drop that othering. And how do we bottle that? And I think it's awe and wonder. And I can't manufacture eclipses for you. I wish I could. But, astronauts call it the overview effect. When you zoom out, the people, let's just say in my world, the people that were from the rally and from the marginalized groups, and they're standing together, they're not thinking about their human selves. Their ego collapses under awe, because it's wow, this mystery, we're living in this mystery. And so awe and wonder it's a very powerful display. And we also see humans at their best in disasters. I've seen so many, hurricanes and floods. People show up to help each other. And they're not looking at who they voted for, the color of their skin. They're helping their neighbor. Why does it take something so big for us to be at our best? And how do we bottle it? I tried to figure it out in 20 minutes, and I couldn't. But here was what I came up with. We are really good at loving in proximity, and we're not as good loving from a distance. So I knew somebody who had very strong opinions about people in this country that they felt shouldn't be here. Very strong opinions. I know 1,000% that if a brown child was in the road, that person would dive into the road at their own peril to save that child, and probably tend to their wounds and comfort them. even though they belonged to the others that they so desperately hated and thought were not where they should be. So we got to find a way to figure that out. And I think it's the dehumanization. That's how wars start. That's how things happen. We dehumanize the other. And first of all, this isn't really political because we all have an other. Take 1 second and think in your mind of, have you ever said they always or those people? Now raise your hand if you don't. You're truthful. Oh. I was like, you're all truthful. And then we had never, not even your family. Okay. Let us know how you do it. Let us know. And what? Yes, please. Yes, please. And I think, in the microcosm, I mean, we're all trying to do our best. I thought it was absolutely crazy that Landis, I knew he was going to play I Can See Clearly Now when he saw the talk, but that song, it was so apropos for what I'm talking about today. And the line when he said, where is it? We judge a book by the cover of the book that we won't read. And so here's one way I think maybe we can bridge the gap at the crossroads, at the intersection, is to let go of the abstraction. So in other words, those people are part of a group, but they're a singular person. So when we love the person in front of us, we are shedding the differences, but in the abstract, we lose that humanity. And I have a very interesting example of a famous person who I believe, with our best intentions, that we see in the abstract. Anybody have a guess? You guys can't answer. Jesus. Now, bear with me. So Jesus, I often wonder, if Jesus were here today, what would he look like? Where would he go? What would he do? Who would he be ministering to? I think sometimes we see him in the abstract because he lived in the 1st century. And it all goes back to the fact that I grew up with a white Jesus. Jesus is not white. If you think he was white, see me after.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. He looked like you. Yeah.
I grew up believing that he was white.
So could you relate to him?
I didn't very much relate to him as a white man, but then as I went through my educational process, understanding history of humanity, I came to realize Jesus had to be brown,
Yeah.
given where he was born.
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
No, thank you. Thank you, because anybody that knows me knows this is what I love. I'm not up here teaching anything. And I was like, I don't have any real questions because this is heavy. But thank you. And no shade on, we were told Jesus was white, I believe, because we needed him to be relatable, the entire thing, forgetting that was not the truth, and he became not relatable to you, which is such a disservice. And one of my favorite parts of my youth ministry was when I cast a little boy in the Christmas play, a little brown boy, as Jesus, and he hadn't ever thought about it. And I said, he looked just like you. And just that realization at such an early age. I mean, I was raised Catholic. Mary was blonde with blue eyes. I mean, really. But it came from a well-meaning place of like, we can't relate. And for all of us white people in the room, if we had a black Jesus, you can understand that we might have been like, it would have been an other. Who keeps calling me? Jesus? And so he's in an abstraction, right? So he was this, okay, again, for some people, this white guy living in the first century with robes and sandals on. And so now tell me, what would Jesus look like in Tennessee in 2026? What would he be wearing? Jeans? A band t-shirt? What band? Sarah, what band? Morrissey?
No band that anyone here probably would know about.
I'd like to think he's a Swiftie. Talking Heads. Right. So now start to shift your mind to the Jesus of today. So where would he be? I believe he'd be hanging out under bridges with our unhoused folks, with the addicts instead of the lepers and the adulterers.
That's where he is today.
That is where he is today.
You really went down and checked out the people who are houseless today.
Yep.
And look at who they are and really have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
They're very well spoken, intelligent people, and they're people of color.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jesus' relatives. Yeah. So, I mean, and again, this abstraction, we don't have leper colonies. Well, if we do, I don't know about them. And so that's another level of distraction, abstraction. So I believe that's where he would be. I believe 1,000% he would be first in line at the Pride Parade instead of riding a donkey into a town because the marginalized people were his people. And I do believe that he would be in conversation with our elected officials, probably maybe turning over some tables. But you can imagine it, like he went to the temple and lovingly, directly, without usually anger, sat with the Pharisees and the Sadducees and said, no, here's the deal. So if we bring that into 2026, what's the logical explanation? And it's not a party line, all elected officials. So, that's a really good example of what happens if we're thinking of someone in the abstract. But just like, and what's your name, ma'am?
Audrey Ramsey.
When Audrey finally could realize that Jesus looked more like her than me, there had to have been some comfort and some maybe anger a little bit from the human side that it was told to you. But when we bring somebody from the abstract into our story, that is the point of power I'm hoping to convey, and that will help. And he told us how to treat each other. Yes, sir.
I wanted to weigh in on, I'm enjoying your talk so much.
Oh, thank you.
Just with the archetype of the transformation, whether Jesus is transformational or transactional. If you're a money lender, your archetype is going to be Jesus, a member of the White Citizen Council, or for sure he's collecting funds for the NRA. Your interpretation of Jesus, and I'm of the Jewish faith, is definitely mine. Someone who's tethered to the soul of the people.
Yes.
Dr. King was as black. You had to notice his color. After 5 minutes, there was a glow, and there was a sense that he was a heavenly
Absolutely.
kindred camaraderie. So sometimes with the color stuff, or it's a terrible program in a racist country that you're unfortunately forced to think of blonde hair and white. There isn't Jesus is in you.
Right.
Even Jewish or Asian, whatever, you're walking with someone who's talking to you and saying this isn't right. So the church in the South, and it's like, look at Genesis, a color of its own kind, seed of its own seed, and taking Genesis and bastardizing it.
Right.
You have your own idea that Jesus puts on a sheet and marches in with the clan.
Right.
And so
No.
the whole point is,
No, he would not.
you would not, definitely. That depends on your own
Right.
personage, who you're trying to fool.
Thank you for that. And thank you so much. And I'm hearing Penny. Yep, I'm hearing Penny from last time. For those of you online, I heard you. I'm going to try to sum it up. What he was saying is that it depends on whether you, so the money launderers, that's a transactional thing, and he's of the Jewish faith, and he was explaining that it depends on where you're coming from and what your, give me the 2-sentence version.
That if you're transformational, your Jesus is the Jewish Jesus, that you may not agree with the divinity of Christ, but certainly the humanity of Jesus. Dr.
Yeah.
King, Gandhi, Mandela.
Wait, my memory. And this is in the Jewish faith. So Jesus was not the first Christian. I had an argument with my cousin once. That happened later. He was a Jewish man, fully Jewish man. And so this gentleman is saying that from that perspective, it's transformational, and they may not see in the Jewish faith the divinity as Christians would, but it's from a transformational place. So thank you. And he taught us how to treat each other. Matthew 25. When was it that we welcomed you, or were naked and gave us clothes, and were sick and in prison and visited us and clothed us and fed us? And Jesus said, when you did it to the least of ours. How is that message not always getting through? Abstract. That was then. So the what would Jesus do thing, we need those bracelets again. And he challenged people, like the Good Samaritan. The Samaritans were like the enemies. They were, and he made the Samaritan the hero. So he found a way to speak truth to power and to challenge our beliefs, but in a way that wasn't shaming, that wasn't, punitive. Okay, so he wrote the playbook. He didn't dehumanize either. So now we've established that the abstraction could be sort of the wall from the crossroads and that veil out into the world. And so bringing everyone into our story might be a way for us to stop seeing other. Because all day long we can say, namaste, the Christ in you, I behold the Christ in me, but it's a little abstract. So there's a book called See No Stranger by a woman named Valerie Kauer. And she has a program called Revolutionary Love. And here's a quote from it. Revolutionary love is a choice to enter into labor for others, for our opponents, for ourselves, in order to transform the world around us. It's not a formal code or prescription, but an orientation to life that is personal and political, rooted in joy. And I don't have time to go into all of it. There's a 10-week curriculum on it that is fantastic. She is an activist. Oh, I'm so hot. I'm sorry if I'm sweating. She is an activist and a civil rights attorney. And she's it's actually Sikh instead of Sikh, at least how she pronounces it. So I always say the Sikh faith, but I want to honor that she is of that faith and called it the Sikh. And she, after 9/11, her uncle was one of the first Muslims or Sikh men that was killed because of how he looked. And so she wrestled with that. And so loving others is that person in front of me. But loving opponents or loving in the abstract can be difficult. And so she says we can train our brains to bring people into our story. So for every person here that you know and don't know, well, mostly that you don't know, when you see them, you say, hi, sister, hi, brother. In your head. You could say it out loud, but read the room. But in your head, hi, sister, hi, brother. And then this got me. This is the secret sauce. Say to yourself, you are a part of me I do not yet know. You are a part of me I do not yet know. That brings them into the story. And so when we reduce someone to a label, we lose sight of their humanity, but we also lose sight of our own. And so in the crossroads, when we start seeing each other as kin, That's what allows us to let go of that abstraction. And by bringing those people, into the fold, we're extending our circle of our community, even if it's just in our mind. But certainly now the person at the store that doesn't look like you, if you say, hey, sis, hey, brother, in your mind if you want, you're going to have wonder and curiosity instead of assumptions. And I love this quote, and I didn't write down who said it, but shared joy is double joy. Shared sorrow is half sorrow. So we have an opportunity to share, and I am an authenticity, vulnerability junkie. And I get it can be scary, but any moment that we can do that, that brings that personal touch to our opponent. And that can be difficult. And so when you find yourself this week taking action or not taking action or turning on the news too much or not turning on the news at all, stop and ask yourself, what is the unmet need in this moment that makes me want to do this thing or react in this way? Because it could be if you weren't safe, because universally people want to feel safe, seen, heard, accepted, and loved. Every person. I mean, and even the people that wield power or commit hate crimes, at the base, they were children, and they are missing something. And so we have a responsibility to speak up for those who are marginalized, to have an awareness. But it may not be yours to go out and march or protest. However, you can think about, before you send that post or before you numb out, what is my unmet need? If you didn't feel safe as a child, or if there's something going on in your life that is just sadness and grief, by all means, watch the Eras Tour movie or whatever you're, numbing out is okay, but recognize the unmet need. On the other side, if you weren't seen or heard and your voice didn't matter, you might be dashing off those posts. And just that awareness, when you know your own story, you can invite other people in. So this week, notice who becomes abstract in your mind. If you're at lunch and you say, well, they always, stop and bring a face into it. Even an imagined face. I mean, it may be a real face. It may be somebody a family. They always. What is the story behind it, and what part of you are you not seeing in them? I never get that quote right. You are a part of me I do not yet know. And that bridges the crossroads from our divinity to our humanity. That is the intersection. And so pause, find the face, and then ask, what does love require of me here? And first you ask it for yourself, but then you bring them into the story and ask it for them. And I'll leave you with this quote, well, two quotes. The world doesn't fall apart because we fail to love the people in front of us. It falls apart because we stop seeing people we've never met. And Valerie Kaur, the author of the book, says, this work belongs to all of us. We all have the ability to participate in this great love story. Imagine the stories we tell, the institutions we'll build, and the lives we will lead when we affirm that every person is a person. Every person is a person, not a group, not a they, not a them. Imagine the world we will birth when we see no stranger. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Valerie, Kaur. And I'd be open to doing that curriculum on Zoom. It's fantastic. It's 10 weeks. But look it up. It's Revolutionary Love, and the book is See No Stranger. So let's take this into meditation. And so I invite you to close your outer eyes. Feel the seat supporting you. Relax into this now moment. And take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, bring the awareness that air is air breathed in and out for centuries, millennia. All the molecules that ever were, ever are. And on the next inhale, breathe out love, safety. You are seen. You are heard. You are accepted. You are loved. Now bring into your mind's eye somebody you love. Somebody in your inner circle. A person you respect, love, honor. And feel that feeling in your body. Look at them in your mind's eye and say, you are the face of God. Now, bring into your awareness a stranger. Someone possibly who does not look like you. Maybe the abstract of a group you don't understand. Someone who, in the abstract, challenges you. Allow this feeling in your body with no shame, no guilt, just presence. Feel in your body what comes up. And now look at them in their eyes and say, hi, sister. Hi, brother. You are a part of me I do not yet know. Allow the wonder and curiosity of that statement permeate your consciousness. Know that you are still seen, you are still heard, you are safe, you are loved. And your curiosity allows you to deeply listen to this sister and this brother. And now for a moment, wonder what they might say to you. What part of you is in them that you do not yet know? And we'll take this into the silence for just a moment, allowing that to come up in, around, and through us as we bring them into our story. What is it that they would like you to know? What is it that you would like them to know? We all are brothers and sisters. And so now, come back into this space and take one final deep breath in. And on the exhale, say, thank you, God. Thank you for this opportunity to wonder. And thank you for this friend that I have yet to meet. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. And thank you on that. Thank you online. What's next? Oh. Oh.
It's fun being tall. Ooh, wow, a new laptop. Okay, this is the time in our service now. Well, first off, hello, brothers and sisters. Hi there. Hi there. It's nice to see you. Now's the time in our service where we have an offering. We are a spiritual community that does have expenses. We have lights, we have plumbing, we have speakers, we have musicians. So we do pass the hat. And for those of you so inclined that want to join us in our vision for expanding our space, like we're pretty cozy today. Imagine a space out back where we could seat 60 to 120 people. That means 70 people would be really comfortable. We could spread out like we like to and sit in the back because we're cool. There's very little back here, so let's vision for the future. You know, let's a positive future, and our actions do matter. But our vision for the potential of our new space, like Emerson said, the universe is conspiring to make it happen with your help. So in that, join me in our offering statement, please. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance.
Spirit flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
I guess I started something.
Divine Mother, Father, God, Spirit, Source, thank you for these gifts. Bless the givers. Bless our future. Guide us. Let us have faith in our intuition. salvation, and that these gifts can be multiplied and abundant for our prosperity individually and as a community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Okay, well, let's join me in singing our prayer for protection, or our peace song first. Okay, yeah, right, our peace song
Then the prayer.
first.
Yeah.
Then the prayer for protection. Sorry.
It all needs to
How are
go.
we gonna
No,
sing?
no. I looked at that and then I looked at that.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, in oneness all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So if you guys will get your belongings, we're going to move these